Hey guys, welcome back. After our bicep cable exercises, I thought why not to follow up with chest exercises using the cable. I know they're pretty straightforward, everybody's doing them, but I still see common mistakes that can be avoided to optimize the technique a little bit. Yes, we are trying to make the exercises a little bit more efficient. So in today's video, I'm going to go through some exercises, examples, and point out the mistakes that I see that might improve your overall experience. Before we start, two things. If you think it helps to consider the difference between the free weight and the cable while you're exercising, please watch the other video that we made before, somewhere here. This where I discuss the difference between those in terms of mechanical tension. Sometimes it's good to know this a little bit more in depth, so then you can apply it a little bit more easy, okay? Right, second thing, instant pump. Yes, that's not a gimmick, somewhere in the title. This is specific for the cable. Especially, think about it, especially when you're short of time, for example, when you only have, let's say, 15 minutes, you still want to squeeze in the chest. This is ideal. Use the cable. 2 exercises, 15 minutes, yes, realistic, yes, because the cable will allow you to maintain the mechanical tension through the range of movement in the eccentric, concentric phase of the movement. Let's go into the training. All right, first exercise, my absolute favorite. Cable, cross, chest, fly, you want to call it that? Let's go with it. Now, you know what I'm going to say before you start, even before you touch the handles. What do? You make sure you're nicely balanced. What does it mean? Your legs straight in line. Stop doing this. Yeah, you see a lot of people doing this. Why is that? Yeah, just to keep, somehow the balance, or you don't need that. I promise you, you don't need to do this. Consider how your body is already in the twist. When you do this, yeah, look how you're facing. Then you're coming back and doing this. Oh, can you see how difficult for the body is to be nicely balanced? Yeah? Especially when you're coming at the end of the set and when you're like, trying to, this is where it comes, the being off balance when it comes, and when you start to, push it with one side then the other. It's totally unnecessary. If you need, do a little step back so you're nicely in front, and that's it. You balance it there. You don't need any, additional being like this. What the hell is that? It's other exercises as well, like when you do the, what is that? What is that? No, learn to be nicely here, core, straight, solid. Yeah, from here you can do everything. But once you compromise the balance being twisted already, I don't know what you're doing. What you're doing, right? Okay, so that's the first thing, straight in line. Second thing, as far as the balance, is watch your center in the frame. There is again no need to be on one side, pulling the cable this way and that one this way. I'm exaggerating, yeah, of course. Yeah, you might say, well, that's ridiculous. No, it's not. Why would you compromise that? It takes 2 seconds to make sure that you're in the center of the frame, right? Either seeing where the distance of the cables or the height of the stack of the weights, but you grab the handles, you look, yeah, I'm in the center. If you're this way, well, then what? Why? It's unnecessary. Stay nicely in the middle. From there, you can really make sure that everything happens, nicely in balance. Perfection. Okay, moving on. The exercise on its own has so many varieties, yeah? Because you can put your upper body into many angles in this exercise, yeah, right? You can go basically from being straight up to almost being horizontal or parallel to the floor. right? So that will determine what part of the chest you're aiming. Now, let's go through the positions a little bit. So when you are straight up, you mostly will be hitting the bottom of the chest, the center and the bottom, like you'll be doing decline flies. Imagine doing this with the cable standing up. It would be similar if you're in a really high decline and doing, let's say, dumbbell presses. Dumbbell flies. So that will attack mostly the bottom. The further you go this way, the more you project the force to the middle of the chest, until you are basically horizontal or with the floor, and that will indicate mostly like you'll be flat on the bench, let's say. Can you see how this would be mostly addressing the middle part of the chest? You probably won't be able to go into complete like a decline in here. I don't think that it's very practical. So let's just stay horizontal, and then there you go. So see that how many angles that you can go until you get to the upright position. What I like to do, what I really like to do, is combine these angles in the eccentric and concentric movement. For example, if I'm going down with the eccentric movement, going out, stretching the chest in this plane, almost like a horizontal plane. You stretch the chest much more efficiently, and you come up and you end up here. So you go through the full range, but end up doing more like a decline. Decline flies. And then again, you go in, stretch it this plane, and then come up and finish this way, right? And then, can you see a lot of other combinations can be done, but just suggesting something you can try. So, now, very important thing, this is probably the most important thing, is how you put your chest and what kind of position of the chest you need to attain to make it most efficient, right? No matter what angle, no matter what's the composition of the movement itself, you always need to try to push the chest up, out. Yes? There is no practical reason to push the chest in. We talked about it in other exercises as well. With the cable, it's the same thing. You need to push the chest up to be able to activate it the most, right? So when you are here, you're still pushing the chest up, but you're stretching and you're coming up. You're coming up. You force the chest. You expose the chest right there, right, as much as you can. What you're doing again is compensating because it is too heavy, and you're trying to compensate with muscles that are maybe more active, or that are maybe a little bit more in the movement, which is the shoulder, the front shoulder, and the tricep as well. It's very active, so you're trying to wrestle the movement with those other muscles and leaving the chest out. And if I do this, I can really tense the shoulder, and this is completely off. But once you start doing this, in the movement, when you're like this, immediately you put the chest in a position where it actually can kick in, right? So watch it. You need to be conscious about it. You need to start like thinking, not like, oh, right, I'm doing chest, No, consciously. Force it, every rep. Force it consciously, In, go, out, up. Don't get into 4, 5 repetitions and all of a sudden, no reason. Even if you're at the end of the set, you still, with the cable, you can still maintain the position. You can still go in nicely, there. it shouldn't be that heavy that you would struggle, you know, like getting it. There's no need for the cable. There's absolutely no need to go, you know, that heavy. So pay attention to that. It's really, really important. All right, and next up, incline chest press or flies. You can do both. Another excellent example where you benefit from the mechanical tension through the range of movement, right? So wherever you are in the movement, yeah, you are stretching, you're doing the concentric part, you're continuously being pulled, therefore maintaining the tension on the muscle, which is the, you know, main difference from the dumbbell presses. When you're not careful with the dumbbell press, somewhere here you're already losing the tension. So with the cable, let's profit from the real, you know, tension all the way through. Now, many different again, ways to perform this exercise. As you can imagine, first of all, you can set the origin of the cable in a different heights, right? And then the way you are bringing the weight up will also, I mean, the resistance, the cable, will also determine the final position of the chest and the aim where the chest is mostly affected, right? So let's say I set the the cable quite low, and from there I still have few options. Yes, I can go traditional and be fairly in the middle and ending up somewhere, you know, on top, or even lower a little bit in the middle, right? But I can go into the more extreme and scoop it, you know, from here, go from really from low, really extend the range of movement at the bottom and at the stretch, and then come up, you know, and go and straight through and all the way up and hit the top of the chest. So of course we are on the incline, so we are still ending up on top, hitting the chest mostly at the top. Yeah, but saying that, if you imagine, if you're coming from the low part, you are addressing the whole range in the chest. So that's absolutely excellent. Yeah. So this is the really good also exercise to experiment. You can try, you know, like don't get into the position that you see somebody doing it. Oh, I'm doing it. No, try different things, try different angles, you know, position of the arms, and try take the cable and the resistance through a different sort of pattern. Yeah. It will, you will find something is much more, wow, you know, this works for me better, right? So don't be afraid to really try different ways to come up, right? Now, again, I'm saying it again, most important thing in the exercise will be the position of your chest. Do not allow the weight to be too heavy, or the resistance to be too much. So you end up doing this. You end up using the shoulder and the arm. There's no point doing chest when you just start doing the, you know, shoulder exercises, right? So adjust the weight so you can maintain this. Exaggerate, really exaggerate. Push the chest up, yeah? Push the chest up and go. Keep it, in, out. Wherever you end up, look, chest up, boom. Yeah? Even here, wherever. Consciously, think about it, do it. The only problem with this is you pay attention to your lower back. Yeah? I mean, you start arching, you start pushing your chest up, and you start arching in the lower back. I don't think it is a problem because you are using cables as a resistance, so you're not like a heavily, you know, compromising the lower back. But still, pay attention so you don't want to, you know, like, do something too extreme. You push the chest up and reasonably, you know, maintain the lower back somehow under control. Yeah, you don't want to come up somehow, you know, in a weird position. So really pay attention to your chest being up. Yeah, nice breathing. In, allow, and go. Boom. Yeah, fantastic. Practice different angles. Yeah, in and out. Yeah, scoop it, in, and boom, out, look. Yes, fantastic tension. Experiment, practice, all right? Moving on. Last exercise I would like to demonstrate today is the pullover using the cable. I know it's not very traditional exercise for chest using the cable. And in fact, I don't think I've seen anybody doing it for a long time, if ever. And you might say, well, maybe there's a reason for it. Yes, maybe. But I believe there is an application for this exercise, and maybe it is time to spice up the routine a little bit, include, different exercise just to, stimulate the chest a little bit differently. Because yeah, we are running out of all the exercises we do all the time. So why not to, make some differences? So it is a little bit tricky to set it up the way it's practical. So you need to, again, experiment a little bit with the bench and with the position of the cable. Yeah? I like to put the cable a little bit below the top of the bench. Yes. So I get the traditional feel of the pullover. I like to do the dumbbell pullovers on bench, and I would like to replicate it as much as possible. However, the difference is, again, the constant tension of the cable wherever you are in the movement. Yeah? Whereas in the dumbbell, when you come up somewhere here, it's difficult to maintain the tension. Yeah? The resistance is not there. So you either need to be really conscious about, flexing, tensing, or you lose it easily. With the cable, again, it's much more likely that you keep the tension of the chest. So there you go. That's the reason. So it will require a little bit of, trying out, where you are in terms of where the bench is, where the origin again of the cable goes, and also the attachment. I like to replicate again similar attachment to as I'm holding a dumbbell, but you can try, go really wide, for example, no problem, with the bar, or even different attachment. I don't know, but so through the movement, again, you try go as far as you can. Yes, extend the chest as far as you can, as far as practically you can. You don't want to, pull something. But then on the top, obviously, you won't be able to go as far. You won't be able to go here as you would with the dumbbell, right? Because of the cable is here. So you go as far as you can where the cable goes. Yeah, but it's enough. It's enough because of the tension is still there. You should be able to finish the movement a little bit earlier, but with a really good tension. So I think that works really well. Be careful, again, not to overload. So you are not using too much of a tricep. So you're not doing too much tricep extension in the joint. Try to keep the elbow bent a little bit, but not do too much of this movement, right? Yeah, you keep it steady there, and try to maintain tension. Go somewhere there. That's more or less where you go. Yeah, it's really, really good. It's really good. So breathing, yes, in, expose, extend, stretch, and go. Squeeze. Yeah, try still keep even more the tension as you can. Yeah, chest up, same thing. You don't want to end up here. Yeah, you want to still keep the chest really nice and up. Get really nice tension. Fantastic, guys. That was really good. I'm hoping that it somehow helps you to practice different things, and then you start thinking about these movements a little bit more, and it will make sense. It will somehow be more efficient at the end, right? If you have any comments, as always, yeah, write them down, and I will see you soon. Bye.